It's rare to see men and women fight each other in WWE, however, the company has become more adult again, and we've seen some shocking intergender wrestling moments. Beth Phoenix is one of those powerful women in WWE history. The Glamazon is so strong, she can even beat up men. In January 2022, Phoenix teamed up with her husband, Edge, to take on The Miz and his wife, Maurice. A week before their tag team match, Miz was hosting a birthday celebration for Maurice. Edge and Beth came out and interrupted the whole thing, and Phoenix took down multiple male security guards. The Glamazon even borrowed Edge's spear and mowed down one guy. That was cool, but wait until you see what happened during the tag team match. At the Royal Rumble, the couples officially got to fight one another. Things started off normal at first, but that changed quickly. Beth Phoenix had Maurice down for the pin, but The Miz broke it up. The Glamazon then went beast mode and started manhandling the A-lister and pounding him with a flurry of fists. Phoenix then took it a step up and saved Edge by grabbing The Miz and then powerbombing the most must-see WWE superstar. Maurice then decided to get in on the intergender wrestling action and gave the Radar superstar a Hurricane Rana. Sadly for Edge, this wasn't the most painful thing a woman did to him in 2022. Anyways, the Glamazon and Edge finally decided to finish things off by hitting the A-lister with a double spear and getting the pinfall victory soon after. While Beth Phoenix and Maurice were pretty impressive, what they did was nothing compared to what Rhea Ripley did to the male roster. It all started when Rhea, as well as Damian Priest and Finn Balor, attacked Rey Mysterio during his 20th anniversary celebration. The next week, Rey and Dominic Mysterio fought the Usos for the unified WWE Tag Team Championship. Rey and Dom were unsuccessful, and immediately after the defeat, Balor, Priest, and Ripley came out for a second attack. Ripley used her legs to choke out Dominic Mysterio in the corner. I felt so bad for Dom having to suffer through that I would have been more than willing to take his place. Rhea Ripley's women on man attacks didn't stop there. 2 weeks later, Rey Mysterio came out and assaulted Damian and Finn. However, when Rhea got in the ring, Rey stopped because he refused to attack a woman. Mysterio would have a change of heart not long after. Unfortunately, another male wrestler would be attacked by Rhea Ripley the next week, and it was not pretty. In his hometown of Toronto, Edge took on Damian Priest. The Radar superstar got the win and was setting Priest up for a concerto. Before he could execute it though, Rhea Ripley slid in and low-blowed Edge. Yeah, sorry, I'm not offering to take anyone's place this time, Edge. I told ya, Rhea Ripley can take down any man. However, the guys did get some sweet revenge. At Clash at the Castle, Edge and Rey Mysterio took on Damian Priest and Finn Balor, with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley on the outside. The match was chaotic, and of course, Ripley didn't keep her hands to herself. At one point, she started manhandling Dominic again. This finally gave Rey the push he needed to take Rhea down with a suicide dive. That was so satisfying to see. However, this didn't stop Ripley from attacking men. Months after the rivalry with the Mysterios and Edge, Finn Balor was having a match against Carl Anderson. Luke Gallows was in Anderson's corner, and during the match, Ripley pushed Gallows into the ring post and then body slammed the man. Then, immediately after that, Rhea got into the ring and gave Carl Anderson a low blow. Well, that's one thing Edge and Anderson have in common. Ironically, something very similar happened to Akira Tozawa. In March 2022, we saw a rare intergender tornado tag team match when Reggie and Dana Brooke fought Tozawa and Tamina. Things got very ugly when Tamina and Akira Tozawa were sandwiched in the corner. An elbow from Dana Brooke caused Tamina to land face first on Tozawa's crotch. Akira's face says it all. Geez, at this rate, there won't be any second or third generation wrestlers because none of the men are gonna be able to have kids.
Oh, wait a minute, now a German to Johnny! Wow!
After Randy Orton set the Fiend on fire, Alexa Bliss wanted revenge. She gave the Viper a taste of his own medicine by shooting a fireball into Orton's face. Despite being badly damaged, Randy wasn't going to let Alexa Bliss walk away without a punishment. 2 weeks later, Alexa Bliss was wrestling in the main event against Asuka. Bliss was in control of the match when Randy Orton suddenly appeared from behind her. The Viper then hit Bliss with his finisher, the RKO. This is proof Randy Orton doesn't care who you are. He'll RKO anyone who makes him mad. The Apex Predator and Bliss would eventually face off in an intergender match, however, there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling. Alexa Bliss mainly used her supernatural powers to attack Orton. Randy managed to survive Alexa's crazy offense, but a returning Fiend knocked Randy Orton out cold and allowed Alexa Bliss to be the first woman to defeat Randy Orton. In 2020, Robert Stone became Aaliyah's manager. On top of that, the two also fought together, even though they didn't win. Unfortunately, losing was pretty common for Aaliyah, and every defeat made her more and more upset. Finally, Aaliyah couldn't take it anymore. After losing yet another match, Robert Stone tried to calm Aaliyah down. She wasn't having it and started shoving her manager. Eventually, it turned into a woman-on-man attack, and Aaliyah started pounding, kneeing, and kicking Robert Stone. It was a pretty hard beatdown, but the fans supported Aaliyah's decision and cheered her on. Reginald made his debut in 2020 as the sommelier for Carmella. He did a lot more than just serve wine, however. Before Carmella and Sasha Banks clashed at the Royal Rumble, the boss had to go through Reginald. In his debut match, Reginald definitely impressed by using his acrobatic skills to dodge Sasha's attacks. The sommelier didn't get any offense in, but he was still a problem for Banks. She's called the boss for a reason though, and Sasha hit Reginald with several hard-hitting moves before forcing him to tap out to the Banks statement. Despite a rough introduction, Reginald would later come to Banks' defense. A few weeks after his match with Sasha, Nia Jax was in the ring, talking trash about the boss. Reginald came out to say that Sasha Banks was a better wrestler than Jax gave her credit. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks' WrestleMania opponent, eventually came out and a huge argument ensued. Reginald then proposed a 6-person tag team match with him, Sasha, and Bianca taking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Bayley. Jax accepted and the bell was rung. After a few minutes of fighting, Reginald tagged in, leading to a pretty funny moment.
Okay. I'm expensive wine, boy. Let's go.
Oh my goodness!
While Reginald put in a good effort, he was no match for Nia Jax. However, thanks to some help from his tag team partners, Reginald was able to pin the Irresistible Force. Funny enough, like with Sasha Banks, Reginald and Nia Jax would later become friends. Jax and her tag team partner Shayna Baszler would even accompany Reggie to his third intergender match against Tamina. Like with his other matches, Reginald didn't do a whole lot of fighting, and instead chose to dodge his opponent by flipping around. While he was fast, Reggie wasn't quick enough to dodge a kick to the face by Tamina. Baszler and Nia Jax came to their friend's aid, and the match ended in a disqualification. The relationship between Reggie, Nia, and Shayna was going good until Reginald accidentally cost Baszler a match. This put Reginald in another intergender match, this time against the Queen of Spades. Being that Shayna Baszler was an MMA fighter, she didn't play any games and began attacking Reggie shortly after the match started. Reginald wasn't playing either, as he body slammed Shayna. The match stayed competitive as Shayna Baszler began attacking Reggie's left leg. Reggie wasn't done yet and hit Baszler with a spinning crossbody. Despite Reginald's impressive offense, the Queen of Spades was just too strong. However, thanks to a distraction, Reggie's able to roll up Shayna Baszler and get the 1-2-3 to win the match. The main event of NXT featured a 4-on-4 mixed tag team match. Even though it wasn't technically an intergender match, you know the men and the women were gonna fight. Partway through the match, Candice LeRae tried to take down Bronson Reed, which went as well as you'd expect. Johnny Gargano avenged his wife, but got taken down when Ember Moon hit a suicide dive. Candice LeRae got back into the action by planting Dexter Lumis with a DDT on the floor. If that wasn't crazy enough, Bronson Reed then threw Shotzi Blackheart out of the ring, knocking down 4 people like bowling pins. Bronson Reed then teamed up with Ember Moon and hit Johnny Gargano with an Eclipse to ultimately win the match. In November of 2021, Cedric Alexander took on Reggie for the 24/7 championship. Despite Reggie's amazing acrobatics, Cedric hit too hard and was able to put away his opponent and become the new champion. A swarm of wrestlers came out after the match, and thanks to the distraction, Dana Brooke was able to hit Alexander with a neck breaker and pin him. Not only did Brooke beat a man, but she also got to walk away with a championship. Right after Alicia Fox entered the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble, the 24/7 champion, R-Truth, ran into the ring. Other male wrestlers surrounded Truth, and to keep his title safe, R-Truth started using Alicia Fox as a weapon. It worked pretty well, but Fox wasn't happy about it. Alicia caught R-Truth off guard and rolled him up and became the new 24/7 champion. That's where the fun ended for Alicia Fox, unfortunately. She was soon eliminated from the match, and even worse, R-Truth rolled up Foxy and won back the 24/7 championship.
You think you can lay your hands on her? You are nothing like her! You're not a queen! You're just common! Oh.
After Chelsea Green fired him, Robert Stone was desperately looking for someone new to add to the Robert Stone brand. After successfully recruiting Aaliyah, Stone tried to hit another home run and get Rhea Ripley to join him. Ripley's response was to dump Robert Stone straight into the trash. This ultimately led to Aaliyah and Robert wrestling the Australian native at the Great American Bash in an intergendered handicap match. To his credit, Robert Stone was the first one to take a stab at Ripley. Unfortunately, all it took was one chop, and Stone went down to the mat. After letting Aaliyah wrestle for a bit, Robert decided to take another shot at Rhea Ripley, but all he ended up getting was a first-class trip to the floor. However, after a commercial break, Stone and Aaliyah had the former women's champion locked in an intense submission hold. The two then followed up with a suplex, but began arguing when they tried to pin Rhea Ripley. This ended up costing them, as Ripley countered a second suplex and started using Aaliyah as a weapon to inflict a ton of pain on Robert Stone. The worst one, though, had to be when Rhea Ripley threw Aaliyah headfirst into Stone's crotch. In a last-ditch effort, RS tried to roll up his opponent, but Rhea wasn't having it. To put this massacre away, the 24-year-old locked both of her opponents in the Prism Trap and won the intergender match via submission. 2020's Money in the Bank was pretty unique. Not only was the match held inside WWE headquarters, poor Ray. After Edge was brutally attacked by Randy Orton, the Rated R Superstar's wife, Beth Phoenix, showed up on Raw to give the fans an update on Edge's health. Before she barely said anything, Orton's music hit and the Viper slithered into the ring. Randy explained his actions to Beth and accused her of enabling Edge to return to WWE. Phoenix responded by slapping the Apex Predator across the face. The two had a tense stare-off until Randy Orton struck with an RKO. Orton left the woman completely lifeless, and soon, WWE officials and wrestlers ran in to check on the Hall of Famer. It ended up being a pretty bad move for Randy Orton, as Edge returned and went on to defeat the Viper at WrestleMania. After Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae used some dirty tactics to beat them, Keith Lee and Mia Yim were anxious for a rematch. Before the bell even run, both sides were getting in each other's faces, leading to a funny bit where Lee picked up Candice LeRae. Eventually, the match got under control, and the women started fighting the women, and the men fought the men. Later on, Gargano was having a bit of trouble, so his wife decided to lend him a hand. Proving why they're NXT's power couple, Candice and Johnny took Keith Lee down with an awesome kick and DDT combo. Gargano repaid the favor by breaking up Mia Yim's pin attempt, but ended up getting smacked around for his troubles. Even worse, Mia Yim also kicked Johnny in the head and then took him to Suplex City. A little later, Johnny Gargano took advantage of a distracted Keith Lee and planted him with a DDT. Unfortunately, Johnny's wife was caught in the crossfire and got squashed by the over 300-pound man. Candice was completely lifeless, and Gargano once again used Lee's lack of focus to snag the pinfall. I'm not sure though if LeRae even realized she had won. Even though she lost the #1 contenders match to her friend, Alexa Bliss still stood in Nikki Cross's corner when the former Sanity member challenged Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Despite her best efforts, Nikki Cross came up short and lost the match. Alexa Bliss tried to console her friend, but Cross was too frustrated and shoved Bliss down. Shocked by what happened, Alexa Bliss sat alone in the ring until The Fiend appeared. The Masked Menace stalked the goddess for a bit until attacking her with the Mandible Claw and choking Bliss out. Ever since then, Alexa really hasn't been the same. In a special Champions vs. Challengers match, Damian Priest and Io Shirai teamed up to take on Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. The mixed tag team contest started off normal, but things heated up really fast. After Gargano nailed an enziguri, Damian Priest tagged out and Io Shirai hit Johnny Wrestling with a missile dropkick. Once he was back to his feet, Johnny Gargano came to his wife's aid, but all he ended up receiving was a slap by his female opponent. Say what you will about Gargano, but the man is a dedicated spouse, as he saved Candice LeRae from a moonsault and ended up taking one himself, courtesy of Io Shirai. However, the Poison Pixie fought fire with fire by low-blowing Damian Priest, which allowed Johnny Gargano to hit the one final beat and get the win. Back in 2010, fans and wrestlers would have to wait 8 more years until there was a Women's Royal Rumble. Beth Phoenix decided she didn't want to wait and entered the Men's Rumble match as the 6th participant. Unfortunately for her, the wrestler who was standing in the ring was the Great Khali. The Giant easily lifted up Phoenix and set her on the ring apron. After the massive elimination, the Glamazon kept her momentum going by taking down the only other active Rumble participant, CM Punk. It looked like Beth was going to be 0 for 2 in eliminations, but the Strange wrestler managed to counter and took out Beth Phoenix with the GTS. Phoenix's lifeless body was then thrown out of the ring and eliminated. After Phoenix's entry, it wouldn't be too long before we saw more intergender wrestling in the Royal Rumble. In the 2012 Rumble match, Karma made her return to WWE and immediately went after Michael Cole. After the commentator was out of the match, Karma turned her attention to Dolph Ziggler.
Cole is gone. He is eliminated. Look at Karma.
Once the show-off was done, Karma showed off her strength by throwing Hunico clear over the top rope. Unfortunately for Karma, Ziggler then came back and eliminated her. Going way back to the 1999 Royal Rumble, Chyna made history when she became the first woman to ever enter the match. As the number 30 participant, the ninth wonder of the world went after one of the hardest competitors to eliminate, Mark Henry. Despite Henry's size, Chyna was able to lift the world's strongest man over the top rope just seconds after getting into the ring. Her victory was short-lived as Stone Cold caught her with a surprise clothesline, causing Chyna to be eliminated in just 35 seconds. On the bright side, Chyna got an opportunity at next year's Royal Rumble when she entered at number 17. This time, Chyna went after Chris Jericho, who had beaten her earlier that night to become the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. Nearly 2 decades after Chyna's last Royal Rumble appearance, we saw another woman enter the Men's Royal Rumble in 2019. As R-Truth was getting ready to enter the match, Nia Jax ambushed him. Once Truth was incapacitated, Nia took his place and made her way towards the ring. When she got inside the ropes, Jax went on a rampage, beating down just about every man who was still in the match. Like all the women who came before her, the Irresistible Force did make an elimination when she chucked Mustafa Ali onto the floor. Soon after, though, Nia came face to face with the Viper. Orton tried to strike with an RKO, but Nia Jax countered and knocked Randy down. Jax looked to take Mysterio out too, but ate a super kick from Dolph Ziggler instead. Ray got his payback by hitting the 619, then this happened.
She's out of it. Oh my God! No! KO out of nowhere!
With Nia struggling to get to her feet, Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio teamed up and eliminated Jax for good. We haven't just seen women involved with the Men's Royal Rumble, as a couple of guys have made appearances in the Ladies' Rumble match. During the second Women's Royal Rumble in 2019, one of the participants was Zelina Vega. She decided to play it safe, who threw Vega over the top rope and eliminated her. If that wasn't bad enough, Hornswoggle still wasn't done and continued chasing after Zelina Vega. The following Women's Royal Rumble in 2020 also saw a fun intergender moment. Towards the end of the 2020 Rumble, Santina Marella made a surprise return as the 29th entry. She, or he, depending on if you're keeping kayfabe or not, confronted Beth Phoenix, the woman Santina eliminated to win the Miss WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 25 in 2009. While Santino's twin sister was looking to make friends, Beth Phoenix and Natalya were not in the mood. Deciding to quit while she was ahead, Santina pulled out the Cobra.
Did not flinch. Wait a minute! Whoa!
Randy Orton clearly believes in equal rights, equal fights. The Viper has given a lot of women the RKO in his career. During a 6-person tag team match, Orton was in a team with Edge and Lita against John Cena, Carlito, and Trish Stratus. While the referee wasn't looking, the Viper hit Trish with an RKO, allowing Lita to get an easy win. It doesn't matter if you're a senior citizen either, Randy will still treat you to an RKO. At 80 years old, the fabulous Moolah wrestled her final singles match against Victoria. Moolah got the upset victory, causing Victoria to attack her. Randy Orton ran in to stop the beating, so that he could give one of his own.
Randy Orton. Legend killer. What? What? Oh my God! Oh!
However, the most savage RKO has to be this one. On Raw in 2005, Randy Orton was in the ring with Stacy Keibler. The Viper confessed his love to Stacy, and the two kissed. Then, Orton had Keibler kiss the mat.
That message is simply this.
Now to find out who every female WWE wrestler is dating right now, watch the video on screen.